Hey, you guys, it's Peter. And I'm back. Of course I'm back. I'm not going anywhere. Beast! Peekaboo! I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available in the fall of the Christmas of 2022. The winter of 2023. The summer of 2023. Dad. AF. Hold me closer, tiny dancer. Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. I'm still Peter from the block. Beast! How are you guys doing today? Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada. Big Mac filet of fish, quarter pound of French fries, icy Coke, thick shake, sundaes and apple pies. How are we doing? Sundaes and apple pies. It's shake and bake and I make. It's shake and bake and I help. I am all over the place today. What is wrong? Okay, I'll tell you what is wrong. Since you asked, since it's shake and bake and I help and you asked, let me tell you what is wrong. That sounded like Cher, didn't it? Anyway, Cher. This is what is wrong. What is wrong is that I had a doctor's appointment very, very early this morning. So I Ubered to my doctor's appointment. And then when I got done with that, I was like, I'm going to treat myself to a little bit of a breakfast this morning. And there is a place here in Indianapolis. It's rather new. And my cousin actually found it through TikTok. And it's called Big Bear's Biscuits. And if you live in Indianapolis, it's off of 96th Street. And I am obsessed with this place, okay? And basically the concept is that everything is on biscuits. These huge biscuits, which who doesn't love a good biscuit, right? So anyway, I know that I do, okay? So my cousin and I, we went there last week. And I was like looking through the menu. And y'all know I'm a vegetarian. And I was like, oh, there's like a wedge salad, but there's not a lot other than like a make your own omelet options for me on here, And my cousin was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like we could have gone somewhere else. And I'm like, it's cool. It's whatever. I like trying new places. We try to try a new brunch place every week. And so anyway, I was like looking through the menu and they had like biscuits and gravy. Now listen, Linda. I've been using that GIF like so much and sending it to people lately of the little kid going, listen, Linda. Anyway, if y'all know what you don't know is a lot. I love biscuits and gravy, okay? And I haven't had them in 5 years because I've been a vegetarian for 5 years. And I know people are like, there's a lot of good recipes out there for vegan and vegetarian, like gravy that you can put over a biscuits, but I don't cook. And when you don't cook, that's part of the problem. So anyway, I was like looking through the menu and they had mushroom gravy on there. And so when the server came, I asked her, I said, is this mushroom gravy vegetarian? And she goes, yeah, absolutely. And I was like, oh my God. And so I got this mushroom gravy. It's biscuits and gravy, but it was mushroom gravy. And it was like literally, even just with sausage gravy, it was like some of the best biscuits and gravy I have ever had in my entire life. And so today I was like, I'm going to treat myself to some of that biscuits and gravy over there at Big Bear Biscuits. And so I Ubered over to Big Bear Biscuits. And and then I came home and I was like so tired because I had eaten too much. And so I looked at little Boo Radley, my dog, little Boo Radley. And I said, how about a nap, Boo Radley? And so we took a long winter's nap today. And then I woke up, and now it's time for a drama video about Jeffree Star. So let's get into this. But before I do, I need a little bit of lip gloss. When your lips are dry as mine, then it's Luna Beauty time. Are you guys watching The Surreal Life with Manny MUA? The 4th episode came out this week. It's on VH1, and I have to tell you, I am absolutely, absolutely loving it. So I haven't watched the 4th episode yet, but I'm really excited to get caught up this week on the new episode. I think the newest episode came out like maybe today. So very excited about that. Okay, so let's talk about what we're not going to make the drama of 2022, and that is Jeffree Star. So I did my video yesterday, and I talked about speculations about the upcoming new episode because Shane is like really hinting out about this new episode coming out. And, it was interesting. I got some comments I just want to share with you on the video. A couple comments that I just like, every once in a while, like when I get comments that kind of like, oh, I think maybe I could talk about this in a video, I like screenshot them and I save them. So I wanted to share a few of these comments, pictures of my food, all that kind of stuff. But somebody said, in regards to Shane saying that this is his favorite video he's ever made, and I talked about that at length. These were kind of like two, I would say, polarizing comments about that. Somebody said, every video Shane makes is his favorite. My eyes can't roll any further into the back of my head when he says that. And somebody responded and said, I literally rolled my eyes too. And somebody else responded and said, I totally feel like he does that for emotional value. Kind of like when he says, here's my merch, no pressure. Or the stupid face he always does. And somebody else responded and said, so true. It's like a toddler who can't choose their favorite thing, so everything is their favorite. It's cute when it's a child, not so much when it comes from a grown man. So that was one side of the comment. And then I received another comment, and the comment said, the reasons for him saying this is his favorite video he ever did might not equal to the people's favorite video of his. His reasons for this being supposedly his favorite video, we don't know. It could be that his mental health of him and those around him, he feels are in a much better place than any other time he's shot all these YouTube videos of the past, basically. I don't think this will be the viewer's favorite video of his, but I don't think how I, as a viewer, feels about a YouTuber's content has to equal the YouTuber's feelings about said content. And I think that's an interesting point of view, to say that maybe because of where Shane is at in his life right now, that because he's shooting the video today in, November of 2022, that where he's at with Ryland and Ryland's family and living in Colorado and the alpacas and about to have this baby and all that kind of stuff, maybe because of where he's at with his mental health and his happiness and all that kind of stuff, that this is going to be his happiest or his favorite video of all time. Except that this video, the majority of it, was filmed in the past. And you have to remember that. And a lot of it was referencing the past and his palette, and what's got this whole conversation started that I did in my video yesterday anyway, was him putting out this screenshot of the palette. Hold on, let me pull it up really quick, where he said, here it is, the screenshot of the palette, I can't wait to show you guys the canceled palette. I look at it very often, as sad as that is, LOL, I just love it so much, okay? And so that canceled palette, which I think a lot of people misunderstood what I was saying. He doesn't say cancel with a capital C, like that's the title of the palette. He says cancel palette, like they canceled it. Like they were going to do it and then they canceled it. So I think he's trying to kind of like ambiguously refer to it to get people talking about it. But the canceled palette would have been canceled in 2020, 2021, right? So the reality is, he's still looking back on the past. So for this to be his favorite video, would be favorite things of 2021 or 2020, right? So I don't know that I necessarily agree with that comment that it's because of his mental health and where he's at today. But that's just my perception of how things are going. And then the last comment that I wanted to address is really interesting, and this is before I get into this. Somebody said, I legit think that this palette is Jeffree's circus release. That's why Shane and Jeffree are talking about how the name is so perfect. And somebody responded and said, I really hope you aren't serious. And, when you think about it, I really can't imagine that that's what they're going to do. I really cannot imagine that they're going to come out and that they're going to say that Jeffree Star's psychedelic circus that he just released is in part, I was going to say in part and parcel, is in part, old-timey sayings, is in part, the canceled palette that they were going to put out, right? Because then what that would do is directly link the title Circus to Shane Dawson and this palette that they were going to put out together. And we remember that Shane Dawson called the beauty community a circus and that he wanted no part of it, right? And that would really, to be honest with you, and y'all know I rarely cuss on this channel, so I don't know if this is a swear or not, but that would really be pissing on the audience, both Shane and Jeffree's, and really pissing on the beauty community as a whole, right? And so it will be really interesting to see. Like, I can't imagine that's where they're going to go with it. But when I saw this comment, I was like, oh, wait a second. If they come out and they say that Jeffree's psychedelics, because that would help Jeffree's sales of this palette, right? If people thought that Shane was involved in it and they just decided to let, Jeffree use it for this palette, that would really help Jeffree's sales. So anyway, so that's what's going on with that. Yesterday, Jeffree Star posted these 3 pictures here. I'm going to show them while I'm talking about it. And these 3 pictures up on his Instagram. And underneath it, he posted, oh, where is it at? He posted this comment, and he said, I'm so excited to announce that I'm opening up my first retail store. You'll be able to shop all things Jeffree Star. Located in downtown Casper, Wyoming, and right in the heart of the old Yellowstone district. This store has over 7,000 square feet and will also be an interactive space. Inside, you will be able to shop the full Jeffree Star cosmetics and hashtag Jeffree Star skin product lines, and also Star Yak Ranch, fresh frozen meat, yak plushies, and anything Star Yak related. There will be exclusive makeup and merch only available here. Besides having several shopping experiences, there will also be a section where you can come see things from the Jeffree Star Museum. He's going to have a museum now. Every few months, there will be different exotic cars to come view from my fleet. Huge props from our cosmetic campaigns that never get to be seen. And so much more that you can come in and take pictures of. I am beyond excited for this next chapter, joining downtown Casper and expanding our businesses in my hometown. It's been 2 years now since leaving LA, and it was the best decision I've ever made. We will be opening spring 2023. Okay, so when I first saw this, I don't know that I was surprised, but on the heels of making a video yesterday where I was speculating Jeffree Star getting out of the makeup business and all these kinds of things, like for me, and I've said this for years doing drama commentary videos, for me, it's always about, looking at the motive. What's the long-term plan? What are they really, what's their goal at the end of all this, right? And so when I saw this, well, my first thought was, oh, he's opening a Cracker Barrel. But it's just a Jeffree Star Cracker Barrel, okay, where you can get your yak meat to eat, but then you can also shop for other things as well. I love a good Cracker Barrel where you can eat and you can shop, I love that Cracker Barrel invented that whole idea of the general store idea, where you can get your Yankee Candle and then you can also get your, your hash brown casserole. I love that. I hope that he has hash brown casserole. Maybe not with yak meat in it, but I hope he does have a hash brown casserole at the Jeffree Star Experience Museum. I don't know how I feel about somebody opening a museum of their self. Does anybody out there, and I know the Jeffree Star fans are going to be like, well, Peter, no, okay, let's just be for real. If anybody else in the galaxy opened a museum of their self, okay, of themselves, with pictures of themselves and interactive experiences with their things and their cars and photo shoots of them, we would all say how arrogant it was, okay? If the Kardashians did it, I don't care who it was, okay? This is so arrogant that he is opening the Jeffree Star is opening the Jeffree Star Museum. I just am whew, this is a lot, right? Okay. So you're that full of yourself that you really, and so I'm going to take you on the journey of Peter Monn thinking, okay? This is me just sitting here thinking this through. So I'm like, wow, well, you obviously think a lot of yourself to think that you're going to open an interactive museum that people are going to want to come to, and they're going to want to get up close and personal with your McLarens, your cars, and they're going to want to take pictures and selfies with, your cars, and then they're also going to want, he's going to be able, so there's a whole article that was written where he did part of this interview and stuff with this person that's part of the town. It was a very interesting article, and it mostly talks about how he picked where he wanted to be, and that this guy, all of a sudden, it's interesting when you read it from a real estate point of view and you know something about real estate, because this guy that wasn't going to sell this building just all of a sudden decided to sell this building. And then which is exactly where Jeffree Star wanted to be, which makes you wonder, how much did Jeffree Star offer him for this building? But anyway, So, and it's right downtown in this, like, this area that they're redoing, which is this, like, Yellowstone downtown district area, okay? So, think of in your city where you live, any area where they're kind of trying to, like, you know, make it cool again, and they're trying to, like, you know, like, put in new kind of, like, restaurants and all that, you know, and, like, you know, where they have the mimosa flats and the beer flats, and they're having all this, right? Okay, so he's gonna be, like, right in the heart of all of that. And so I'm looking at all this, and I'm thinking about all this, and I'm like, okay, this is interesting to me. So Jeffree Star is now basically working, and the person that wrote the article, I mean, they kind of sing Jeffree Star's praises in Casper, Wyoming. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, okay, has he sold them on the idea that he believes that Jeffree Star Museum and Interactive Museum will be good, for which the Interactive Museum, part of it is that all the photo shoots that he's done in the past, like, once he's done with the photo shoots, all the staging and everything that he has, the sets, have just gone into storage. So all those sets, he's just going to kind of like January will be one set, then this will be another set, and then you can come there and see the sets, right? Okay. So I'm like, has he sold the people on this idea that he is going to be able to bring tourism to Casper, Wyoming, because he is Jeffree Star, and he believes that if he opens this interactive museum, that then, you know, and I have to tell you, on the heels of just having I know this is corny, just go with me on the journey, okay? After having just watched this movie, Falling for Christmas with Lindsay Lohan and Cord Overstreet, my review is over on my Peter Reviews Stuff channel. But anyway, it's very much like one of these Hallmark movies, right? Which is where, you know, like, somebody comes in to a town like, you know, Casper, Wyoming, this, like, dying city, which Casper, Wyoming is not a dying city, but whatever, comes into this town, and then, like, they get, like, you know, real chummy with all the people in the town, and then they get accepted, and then they, like, save town, and then they're, like, Santa Claus. And I'm like, is this what Jeffree Star is doing? Like, is this Jeffree's plan? I mean, he says in here the best move that he ever made was moving out of LA, right? So is his plan, like, at first I thought, oh, he's gonna nationwide start opening these stores like Morphe. But I don't really think that's what he's gonna do. I think, really, honestly, this might be a one and done. I think he's kind of done with all of it, you guys. I think he's done with the business. I think he'll do the TikToks for a while he's doing the makeup and stuff like that. And I do think maybe, I don't know, we'll see the makeup for the next couple years. But I really think, like, his long-term plan is the yak farming, this museum, and to just settle in Casper, Wyoming, and to make this town his hometown, like he already has, kind of, and to get very involved in the development of this town. Could it even possibly be that at one point Jeffree Star runs for mayor of Casper, Wyoming? Like, I was like, is this where we're going with all of this? Like, has Jeffree gotten to the point where he's like, because, you know, I think to get in a video, or to even just say it, to basically say, I've done it all, I've seen it all, like, that's not just, like, I was thinking about that because he said that in the series with Shane, but then afterwards, like, when I was thinking about it, I thought, it's not only an arrogant stance to take, right? But to really believe it, when you can tell, like, in the video, like, he does something in the series, I can't remember it, he's like, think it might be time to hang up my button, you know, or something, like, he says something like that. But it's like this real genuine moment that you get from him. And it's like, I kind of think he's done. Like, he is just, like, done. Well, when you're Jeffree Star and you've owned every Birkin that he's now sold, and you're done, and you've traveled everywhere, and you have the ability to travel everywhere, you know, and you get very content on this farm, what's next? Well, I do think that you want to be part of something, or you're just going to live out loneliness for the rest of your life on this ranch with just very few friends and family that might come to visit from time to time, but not being part of something. So then that would mean that he has to be part of this greater city of Casper, Wyoming, which is not huge whatsoever, right? I actually don't even know. Let me look in here really quick. I want to see. Hold on a second. Okay, Casper, Wyoming. Let's look it up and see what the population is of Casper, Wyoming. Population is 58,656. So, I mean, it's not small, but it's not large by any means, right? And so, to be part of that, and to also be part of the development and planning of the city, especially if he does open this interactive museum and it does prove to bring in some kind of tourism to the city. I just can't imagine, like, this is just me, whatever, maybe I don't have a finger on the pulse of trends anymore. Maybe 5 years ago, but I don't even think 5 years ago that many people would have flown to Casper, Wyoming to go to an interactive museum of Jeffree Stars. Like, who'd really care to see those? I mean, okay, maybe, like, if it was, like, I mean, like, Indianapolis is kind of, like, where I live is kind of, like, on the way to places. It's kind of on the way to Chicago, Louisville, Ohio, you know. I mean, it's kind of on the way, so if you just happen to stop through on the way. But, like, Casper, Wyoming is kind of, like, off the beaten path, right? So it's, like, you're not going to go out of your way, probably. Most people, I would think. I know that there's going to be the people in the comment section who are going to be like, I would! I'm already planning my trip. Good. I hope you do, okay? You might want to wait for the Jeffree Star Hotel experience as well. But I don't think most people are going to pay to go to Casper, Wyoming to go to this Jeffree Star experience. I just can't imagine that they are. You know, but let's just say that he is able to convince, you know, in the article it said that his yak meat is now at 3 different restaurants in town. I thought it was just his burger place. It's at this burger place, this taco place, and there was one other place, right? And you can tell from reading the article that he is in talks with people that are in development in the town. Like, I mean, they do really consider him like a prominent figure in town. And not just from the point of view, I believe, of being this makeup mogul or this YouTuber. I don't think they really care about that. It's obvious that they care about him as like a businessman and somebody that is invested in development in Casper, Wyoming. And if that's the case, then Jeffree Star obviously has bigger plans to plant down and put down roots in Casper, Wyoming. I believe it's his end game to obviously just settle there. I think he loves Casper, Wyoming, and to have this interactive museum, and that will just be his thing. And do I think he'll still do some makeup releases from time to time? Yes, not as many as in the past. You know, and whatnot. But I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think this is going to be like the next Morphe, where he's putting one in Chicago and one in, you know, Richmond, Virginia, and one in Miami, Florida. I just don't see him doing that, you know? Although, if he did do that, if he did, let's say, open, I don't know, 5 or 10 of these stores in the United States, then what he could do, it would make sense, because then people would have more accessibility to getting to these stores. So maybe that would make sense. And then he could have the sets flown to each place. So like if you were close to Miami, you got to see the blood sugar palette set. And then, you know, if you were in Casper, Wyoming, you got to see the psychedelic circus set. And then he would rotate them. They would like be on tour kind of. So maybe that would make sense. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that a Jeffree Star store, a retail store, would be sustainable on its own. You know, I mean, it's a pretty niche community at this point. Like, most of his makeup is not even selling that at this point. So, I mean, his yak meat is not selling that at this point. So, it would be interesting to me for him to open a store and like have 5 or 10 of them across the country. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's his next big thing, and this has been something he's wanted to do for a long time. You know, like with the whole Morphe idea, he thought, well, maybe I'll be like the next Morphe and have this and whatever. Because if he did that, then he could like, you know, have other things other than Jeffree Star Cosmetics. But I don't think that he would put other people's cosmetics. Jeffree Star's too much of a competitor that he couldn't have like, you know, his cosmetics and Nikki Tutorial's cosmetics like in the same place. I don't think. But anyway, what do you guys think he's going to do? Let me know in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.